Hello and a warm welcome to Friday's Granada Reports.
Yes, hello. On the programme this evening.
A symbolic funeral by the community who can only watch with horror from far away. Tonight in the northwest, the tears and the prayers for Ukraine.
I'm not afraid to say to all the world, I hate him, even Putin. Stop to kill our people.
Also on tonight's programme. For Luke, the special gym challenge to honour a serviceman killed in Afghanistan will be live there.
New music from a legend. Don't miss our chat with Johnny Marr.
And he's not messing about on the river. Why Jordan North's about to row home to Burnley from London.
So do stay with us. Well, we start with the widespread condemnation from across the region of Russia's attack on Ukraine.
Yes, we come on air tonight. The ordinary people living in the capital city, Kiev, are being urged to defend the city.
Tonight, a senior member of the Ukrainian church in Manchester says he feels despair for the people in his home country.
And as the second day of the invasion begins to draw to a close, he says Vladimir Putin does not have the full support of the Russian people.
Ralph Blunsom has our top story tonight.
At the Ukrainian Catholic Church in Manchester's Cheetham Hill, prayers are given up for the people of Ukraine at this troubled time.
Разом з твоєю пречистою матір'ю, поблагослови Україну.
The prayers, part of today's proceedings at this morning's liturgy.
Despair, thoughts of frights, what is going to happen to the Ukrainians in Ukraine that is being invaded by the Russians. And I have to say, what really made me happy was the protests yesterday in about 50 cities in Russia that were protesting against the war, because Putin is always saying, I have to protect my people. But at the end of the day, it's just, he just wants to fulfill his ambitions of renewing the Russian Empire.
Among today's congregation is Maria Ulchak from Oldham.
All my extended family is still over there, and it's just terrible what's happening over there. It's your worst nightmare, and you just feel so sorry for the brave people. It's just beyond comprehension. You're angry and you're sad and you feel frustrated that you can't do anything. You can support them morally, and everything, but it's just tragic what's going on. My heart bleeds for the people in Ukraine at the moment.
A charity in Lancashire with staff and volunteers in Ukraine says it's doing all it can to help people there. The International Aid Trust has been assisting with humanitarian aid by sending parcels there for the past 30 years.
These are people we've worked with for a long, long time. They're good friends, they're brothers and sisters, so we are deeply concerned for our staff and volunteers and all the beneficiaries who they support.
In Manchester's St Peter's Square, demonstrators gathered opposed to the Russian action. Among them, Manchester City's Ukrainian star Alexander Zinchenko, who posted these images on his social media sites. Everton's Vitaly Mykolenko has also joined the online protest movement. In Manchester, members of the Ukrainian community have staged a symbolic funeral to mourn the loss of soldiers in their homeland.
I hate him. I'm not afraid to say to all the world, I hate him, even Putin. Stop to kill our people. We even can't tell us what we are feeling now. I even don't have two words because I can't even talk. Please help us and listen.
Ralph Blunsom, ITV News, Manchester.
Yeah, and of course the latest developments in Ukraine will be on the ITV News in about 20 minutes or so.
Understandably, the war in Ukraine dominates our programme this evening. We'll be reporting from the capital on the fight for Kiev, with Russian forces engaged in close-range battles on the streets. As calls for tougher sanctions continues, from football to F1, major sporting events pull out of Russia. And the fears of the UK's Ukrainian communities as the invasion unfolds, with their friends and family trapped. Join us at 6:30.
Now, of course, those pictures of the thousands of people trying to flee Ukraine puts the issue of refugees right back into the spotlight. And with that, there are renewed calls for a rethink of the Borders Bill that's currently going through Parliament.
Yeah, the bill trying to tighten up the asylum system has come in for some criticism. One asylum seeker based here in Manchester has told Granada reports it could leave some of the northwest vulnerable to exploitation.
Well, the bill would make it a criminal offence to knowingly arrive in the UK illegally. With her second special report for us, here's Emma Sweeney.
When little Amal made her way through the streets of the northwest, the crowds gathered in their thousands to welcome her. Among the sea of people, a choir of women asylum seekers based in Manchester. For them, the 11-foot puppet girl displaced from her Syrian home had given a voice to the voiceless.
We were singing and we looked down. We saw that so many people were singing with us. So many people were cheering us. We were like, wow, so people know about us.
Little Amal's presence on the region's streets came as North West MPs joined colleagues in Westminster to begin debating the Nationality and Borders Bill. Against a backdrop of increasing numbers of undocumented people risking and losing their lives to cross the Channel, the Home Secretary said it was time to fix a broken system.
Madam Deputy Speaker, they do not like hearing the fact that this government will seek to rapidly remove those with no legal right to be in the UK, establishing a fast-track appeal process, streamlining the appeal system, making it quicker to remove decisions for failed asylum seekers and dangerous foreign criminals.
So what is the Home Office proposing? Well, in future, anyone who enters the UK by boat, plane or lorry and who tries to claim asylum here will be treated as illegal entrants if they've passed through another safe country along the way. The government will attempt to remove them, and if it can't do that right away, even those with successful claims will have restricted access to benefits and limited family reunion rights. But two of the singers who welcomed little Amal to the northwest say the tough new measures are unlikely to prevent people from entering without a visa. They've asked us to protect their identity.
People don't choose how they come to the UK. They're running for safety. So by telling people to take the regular routes, if they were able to take those regular routes, they would have done so.
These women fear that treating people differently depending on their mode of travel could actually deter some from claiming asylum at all. That would leave them undocumented and could potentially make them more vulnerable to being exploited.
And there will be modern-day slavery. They will go and work illegally to get paid little money just to survive. That will happen because these people didn't have chance to go and seek asylum because they're scared.
And so, do you believe that people will be driven into the arms of exploiters here in the northwest?
Yes, of course, if this bill goes through. There will be lots of people in the northwest, lots of men and women being forced to modern-day slavery and women forced into sex traffic.
And those in favour of the bill have reservations of their own. Alf Mehmet is a first-generation immigrant and a former British ambassador. He wants to see these reforms, but his concern is whether the Home Office will follow through with efforts to remove failed asylum seekers.
Those who come here by whatever means and claim asylum, even when they are denied asylum, even they are not removed. So long as that happens, I'm afraid they will continue to come. Look, the Northwest has been particularly affected by this government means of allowing people to stay here even when they don't qualify. The Liverpool bomber, for example, he was refused permission to stay here 6 years before he blew himself up.
Well, those on all sides of the debate say that's a really interesting point. Why didn't the government act to remove Imad al-Swilmin sooner? given it already had those powers to do so.
Well, the Home Office says it doesn't comment on individual cases, but insists the new bill will help it to remove failed asylum seekers more effectively in the future. Here in Liverpool, though, there is a real sense that some in the government have used the example of the Liverpool bomber to help justify the new bill, which many here are against.
I think there is a strong case to say that from the Home Secretary right the way down to, Conservative backbenchers, there is a tendency to scapegoat people, and it's a dangerous game to play. It stokes up the potential for violence. It certainly encourages racist activities and views.
Of course, no one truly knows how this bill will look in practice, but the North West has long been a place of sanctuary for those seeking asylum. One way or another, it will have an impact.
And Emma is here with us now. I guess the question that pops up time and again is that why do you have asylum seekers who want to come to the UK instead of going to other European countries?
Well, firstly, many people who come to the UK are fleeing from desperate situations, and often they're trying to reunite with family members here who are already settled here. Other people come here because they know the language, they can speak English, and so they feel it will be easier for them to settle here in the UK. Of course, there are some, who are also economic migrants, but asylum seeker charities say that's not the case for the vast majority of people. But why do they come to the UK? Why don't they settle on mainland Europe? Well, the answer is many people do settle on mainland Europe. So if we look at the figures up until the end of September last year, Germany had almost 128,000 asylum seeker applications. That was followed by France with around 96,000. Then it was Spain, and then the UK with just over 44,000. So many people do settle on mainland Europe.
And Emma, many concerns being raised about the bill in your report tonight. How have the government responded?
Well, we asked the government spokesperson to come on to the programme. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do so, but they did send us through a statement, and they said this bill was about fixing a broken system. They say the UK has a proud history of welcoming people who are in need of protection, but that they must stop those dangerous, illegal, and what they say are unnecessary boat journeys across the Channel, and they say they'll do that by making it a criminal offence to come in without those documents. Now, one of the women in my report raised the concern that the proposed law could lead to undocumented people being exploited. The Home Office say the bill actually aims to identify victims of modern slavery and to give them the support that they need. Just to reiterate, this is a bill, it's not law yet, it's going through the final stages in the Lords at the moment. It'll go back to the Commons after that, but the point being the final version could be very different to what we see now.
OK, Emma, thank you.
Next, the veterans in Liverpool taking on a fitness challenge to honour an RAF serviceman who was killed in Afghanistan.
Yes, Luke Southgate died in 2010 after his vehicle was hit by a bomb. Well, today, a group of servicemen and women are covering 7 million metres in just 24 hours to raise money for charity.
Let's go live to Sarah Rogers in Speak For Us tonight. Sarah, it's an unusual distance. Why that number?
Mel, it is an unusual distance, yes, and we've got people here who are cycling, rowing and skiing that 7 million metres, which is about 4,350 miles, and they're doing that because that was the distance from Luke Southgate's base in Afghanistan to his base in London, and this challenge is called Bring Luke Home. The man behind it joins me now. Well, I'm going to have to join him actually, I'm going to have to hop on my bike. Stephen Ashcroft, tell me, we've got an amazing atmosphere here, but why are you doing it?
So this is all down to a guy who I worked with for 2 Squadron who was killed out in Afghanistan in Kandahar back in 2010, both as a tribute and in remembrance of him.
And this is particularly important to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So because he was one of my guys, and I feel that extra connection to him. It's almost to me like Luke's memory was still left out in Kandahar, so this is almost to help me get a bit of closure, do you know what I mean? So.
And amazing though to see just how many people have turned out, it's incredible.
Honestly, I'm really overwhelmed. It's amazing. We've got serving military lads who are around us now, ex-serving, really good friends and family of mine, guys from the gym who I've not even known that long. And everyone just, as soon as they heard the story, volunteered to get involved. Absolutely amazing.
And this is all to do some good, isn't it? Just quickly name the charities who you're doing it for.
Oh yeah, so we're doing it for the RAF Benevolent Fund, Help for Heroes and the Centurion Fund, who have all been amazing, helping me with my own personal recovery.
Thank you, and I'm so sorry that you lost your friend, and we obviously wish you all the best of luck with this. They've just hit 2 million metres. There's massage tables and cakes and everything to keep people going through the night, because they're going to be doing this till midday tomorrow. But judging on it, they're going to absolutely nail it.
They really will. Thank you, Sarah Rogers. Good to see you're taking part as well, and good luck to everybody getting involved with that tonight.
Yeah, a bit too much exercise for me for a Friday.
I know, I'm feeling
evening.
exhausted just watching it.
You can find out how you can help by going to our website, the usual address, itv.com/Granada.
Still to come tonight.
All the sports, including support for the Ukrainian footballers playing here this weekend.
And these crocuses are just about recovered from the stormy conditions of the past 2 weekends. For this weekend, thankfully, weather-wise, at least, conditions are calming down. And out of the next 5 days, it looks like 4 mostly dry ones. Full forecast a little later on.
Oh, love the idea of mostly dry ones. It's been rubbish the last few weeks.
It has, hasn't it?
Now, they were one of the most influential bands of our regions ever produced. Think Hand in Glove and This Charming Man, which is, without doubt, one of my personal favourites.
Well, can you believe it's been 25 years since the Smiths performed live on stage together, but guitarist Johnny Marr isn't resting on his laurels.
Yeah, his new double album, Fever Dreams, Parts 1 to 4, is out today. And our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore caught up with the Manchester musician.
Johnny Marr, we've had a lot of people working from home recently. You come into the building here at Media City and everyone suddenly wants to come in. Are you used to that?
Nice. Not really. No, that sounds pretty. Only when I come in here. So I'll have to come in here more often.
Come here more
Good
often.
for my ego.
Today, your album is released. It's a double album. Fever
Yeah.
Dreams Part 1 to 4. Do you get excited on the day of release?
Today being the release day, I might not look it, but I'm absolutely really excited.
This is you excited?
This is me excited. I'm jumping for joy. It's so exciting for people to hear all the songs all in one go, especially as it's very epic. It'll last them all weekend if they can be bothered.
And you're on tour with Blondie.
I am, yeah. In April and May, we're going around the UK round arenas, yeah. It was like a 3-second call. It was like a no-brainer, really. Do you want to go on the road with Blondie? Yeah. It's like, hello, yeah, OK. Tenement Time, it's the story of me growing up around Ardwick as a little kid. My little childhood was the city centre and running around sort of near the Apollo. I could live anywhere, but I live here because it's the best place to live. I don't see a time when it'll ever not be a musical city, put it that way.
But I haven't got a stitch to wear.
I love doing the old songs, but also the songs are great, and I'm proud of them. I'm really proud of them, and it's a good feeling when I do them. When stuff becomes classic, it sort of belongs to everybody, really.
Which lyric for you is your favourite lyric from the Smiths days?
I'm human and I need to be loved.
And more recently, you've moved over to movies. The Bond track, Billie Eilish, No Time to Die, you play guitar on there, and it's been nominated for an Oscar.
It's blown up. It's been the most successful Bond film ever, so it's all because of the guitar, obviously. To be up for an Oscar, you feel like you're part of history, definitely. When you're doing it, you're just trying not to mess it up.
Your guitar got the last say, didn't it? Guitar has the last word.
The guitar does have the last word. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah.
The very last thing you hear is that Bond chord. Oh yeah, I wasn't going to be beaten there. I was going to have the last word. It's all about the guitar, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
You're a star.
Guitar, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, time for sport now. And Manchester City and Everton say they're supporting their Ukrainian players. Here's David.
Yeah, these are incredibly difficult times for all those personally affected by the crisis. And for Ukraine internationals Alexander Zinchenko and Vitaly Mykolenko, there are far bigger concerns in life right now than football. Both are worried for their families and friends back home as their country continues to come under attack from Russia. Well, City and Everton play each other tomorrow, and the club's managers say they're supporting their players.
Well, it's worry. What would we feel if our country, when we were born, we have a family and friends, is attacked, killing innocent people? How would you feel? The team, the club, of course, is close to him unconditionally.
He's okay. I've spoken to him. The club has spoken to him. He has every bit of support that we can possibly give him from our end in terms of personal touch, club support. If and when he needs it. Who knows how we can help him and how much we can help him, but he knows that support mechanism is there. He's only been here for a short period as well, so it's ultra important that he feels that from us, and he does.
Well, following its unprovoked attack on Ukraine, Russia has today been stripped of hosting this year's Champions League final. At an emergency meeting, UEFA moved the game from St. Petersburg to the Stade de France in Paris. Manchester United's interim manager says it's the right call.
The situation itself is desperately sad. This is just an incredible situation that we have that kind of war within Europe. And therefore, I think the decision that UEFA took was inevitable, and it was the right decision.
Well, it's 10 years since Liverpool last won the League Cup, but that could all change this weekend. On Sunday, they take on Chelsea in this year's final at Wembley. Jordan Henderson is the only remaining player from the team that lifted the cup a decade ago. Let's hear from him now, plus a few Liverpool legends as the club goes for an unprecedented quadruple of trophies this season.
To get a trophy so early on in the season can give a squad a big boost. So, yeah, it's a cup final and one that we want to win, so we'll do absolutely everything to make sure we bring the trophy home.
Well, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on qualifying for Europe or getting top four into the Champions League and things like that, but if you ask me what my favourite moments were throughout my career, it was not qualifying for something, it was winning something. I think when all these players retired, they won't be thinking, oh, we qualified for this tournament or that tournament this year. They'll be thinking, what did we win? How many trophies did we win? As I say, it starts this weekend.
That's what football's all about, is winning trophies, and since the great man Jurgen Klopp came, well, that's what we've done, and this season we're in for all the trophies, so we hope it all goes well.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsors of the Granada Sport Report.
Now, boxing history will be made tomorrow when Chorley's Jack Catterall tries to become the undisputed light welterweight world champion. For the first time ever, two British boxers will fight for all 4 world titles. He's in Glasgow, hoping to dethrone the current champion, Scotland's Josh Taylor.
On Saturday night, we get to write a piece of history. Me and Josh, the first 4-belt undisputed fight on these shores. But for me to take them belts back to England on Saturday would be like a dream come true. I've got to perform at my skin on Saturday night. Everything that I've done over the last, not just 10, 12 weeks, over the last 17 years, I've got to put on a career best performance and beat Josh on Saturday.
Yeah, good luck to Jack, and I'll leave you with some breaking boxing news tonight. It's official, Tyson Fury will defend his WBC heavyweight world title against fellow Brit Dillian White. It all takes place, homecoming at Wembley on April the 23rd.
Get it in the diary. Thank you, David. Thanks very much. We're next to the radio DJ who kept us all entertained on I'm a Celebrity 2 years ago, who's now on the cusp of another major challenge. Up until a few weeks ago, Jordan North had never rowed before. But on Monday, he plans to navigate 100 miles of the country's canal systems from London to his hometown of Burnley.
Yes, he's doing it for comic relief, and earlier I caught up with him just after his very final training session and began by asking him, well, quite an obvious question, just what was he thinking?
You and me both. When I first got told about it, I was like, why am I going to do this and why have I agreed to do it? What am I thinking? To be fair, this is now the last training session that I've had today. So it's pretty much crunch time now. I've got this weekend to chill out and have a rest. And then, we pretty much get on the water on Monday and start our journey up to Lancashire.
For the avoidance of doubt, you're not an Olympic rower. You are a complete novice when it comes to rowing. You've only been doing this for a few weeks.
I first got the call in October, November last year, and then I first started training or going out on the water in December. And I'd say I've had an average fitness. I go running 2 or 3 times a week. But yeah, rowing is completely different to running and any other form of exercise I've done. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
We've seen some great footage of you actually on the water. What has been the toughest part of training so far?
I'd say the River Thames when it's windy. I can cope with the rain. I mean, it's not great in the rain. And I can cope when it's cold, but when it's windy, that is really difficult. And last week, we went out just before the storm came, and that was really difficult. It felt like for every stroke I was taking, the wind was pushing me back because my trainer, Tracy, thought it'd be good for me to row into the wind. And then on the way back, it was easy. I haven't done anything. It just we literally flew back.
You've been working closely with a Liverpool-based charity called Local Solutions. Tell us a little bit about the work, because the money that you raise will be used to support them and some of the other charities that you work with too.
Comic Relief does a lot of work here within the UK, and a lot of people don't know that. But also the reason why I wanted to get involved is that they do a lot of work with young people. And obviously I'm a Radio 1 DJ, and we're the biggest youth radio station in the country. So that was really appealing to me, that they work with all these young people and all these charities that help young people across the UK. And Local Solutions is one of those in Liverpool, and they help people who've never really taken part in water sports before, because you know, it's quite expensive to do a lot of sports on the water, including rowing.
And just finally, I mean, for those who want to get involved and support what you're doing, how can they learn a little bit more about what you're doing and what you're attempting next week?
So if you go to the Comic Relief website, just search Comic Relief on any search and you can find it out there. And if you listen to Radio 1 all next week from 8 o'clock on Monday morning, we'll pretty much be keeping you updated throughout the week on Radio 1. So it'll be in all the shows and you can see how we're getting on there.
Well, Jordan, my father-in-law is a massive Burnley Football Club fan. Our viewers will know that. I know he's going to be one of the many people who were supporting all your endeavours. So the very best of luck. I hope it goes well, mate. Thank you.
Up the Clarets.
Yeah, good luck to Jordan.
Here's the weather.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Hello, very good evening to you. The weather has been kind to us today. It was a chilly start first thing this morning, but a good deal of sunshine across the northwest for much of today. And as ever, a big thank you for your photos, granada.weather@itv.com. We have seen a little bit of cloud start to emerge from the northwest, pushing into the Isle of Man early, a little bit of drizzle there over higher ground. But for most of us, as we head deeper into tonight, despite a little bit more cloud cover for northern and western parts, we stick with a mostly dry story for much of the night. So cloud will come and go, and there's a bit of a breeze developing into the second half of the night from the south, becoming really quite gusty for the Isle of Man by dawn. That will prevent us from getting too chilly, so a slight frost away from towns and cities overnight tonight. But a cool enough start as we head into the weekend on Saturday. 7:07 and 5:42 are your Saturday sun times. So the weekend is actually looking quite calm. For tomorrow, it will be quite blustery, particularly out towards the Isle of Man, the Cumbrian coast, over the Pennines. Could be gusts in excess of 35, 45 miles an hour, but it's mostly dry, bright rather than sunny, quite a bit of high cloud and mild, similar temperatures to today. We got to nearly 11 Celsius down towards parts of Cheshire earlier on this afternoon, and a similar story in terms of temperatures as we head into tomorrow afternoon. As we head into Saturday night, again, touch of frost under those clearer skies. The winds start to drop out. So the winds will be lighter as we head into Sunday, mostly dry and bright, weather fronts staying to the west. We are expecting a spell of rain on Monday, but for much of the next 5 days, dry is the weather word.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please.
Oh, lovely.
It's 10 to 11 for our late bulletin this evening.
Next week on the programme, how a dad from Cumbria is helping preserve the voices of people who have motor neurone disease.
For now, though, thanks for watching. Goodbye.